Hello everybody, welcome to 2C TV. I'm Maya 2C and this is your first live update of the day. Let's go back to the Middle East for a bit. Let's talk about what's going on inside Israel, the Israeli government, Benjamin Netanyahu as Prime Minister, and all the attacks coming from the ICC, the South Africans, and all the Eastern globalists as well. It's an absolutely fascinating situation, but we're going to give you guys all the update because we have a reaction from Netanyahu as well, and we're going to talk about the division and chaos inside his war cabinet as well. Let's get on with the show. Alright everybody, let's talk about Israel. The conflict continues. They have now said they are going into Rafah. I know they've been saying it for about 2 months now that they're going to Rafah, but they've been delaying the operation for various reasons. But the IDF operation in Gaza in general, taking ages, has actually given a lot of excuses and justification for the enemies to come out and criticize not just the Netanyahu's government, but the IDF in general as well. By being cautious, the IDF, it still hasn't really eliminated mistakes, for example, or criticism. So the longer the operation goes and the more cautious they are, they're still going to be making a mess. And this just allows the opposition to continue to attack the IDF in general. We have a video from the Prime Minister who's come out to slam the ICC and the arrest warrant debate that's been going on for the past few hours, for the past 24 hours or so. He has a bit of a reaction to it. Let's go and watch that together in case you missed it. And then we're going to give you guys all the latest update that you might have missed about what's been going on in the region. Let's go.
You have to hear this to believe this. The International Criminal Court in The Hague is contemplating issuing arrest warrants against senior Israeli government and military officials as war criminals. This would be an outrage of historic proportions. International bodies like the ICC arose in the wake of the Holocaust committed against the Jewish people. They were set up to prevent such horrors, to prevent future genocides. Yet now, the International Court is trying to put Israel in the dock. It's trying to put us in the dock as we defend ourselves against genocidal terrorists and regimes, Iran of course, that openly works to destroy the one and only Jewish state. Branding Israel's leaders and soldiers as war criminals will pour jet fuel on the fires of anti-Semitism, those fires that are already raging on the campuses of America and across capitals around the world. It will also be the first time that a democratic country fighting for its life according to the rules of war is itself accused of war crimes. The Israeli army, the IDF, is one of the most moral militaries in the world. It takes endless measures to prevent civilian casualties, measures that no other army takes. It does so while fighting a terrorist enemy which uses its own civilians as human shields. You know the truth. Hamas places its weapons, its terrorists, in hospitals, schools, mosques, and throughout civilian areas. They do this in order to win immunity and to maximize civilian casualties. So while Hamas shows no care for the lives of Palestinians and steals humanitarian aid meant for civilians, Israel is facilitating a surge of humanitarian assistance to Gaza. And we do this to ensure that the Palestinian population's humanitarian needs are met, rather than commend Israel for abiding by the rules of war while fighting an enemy that violates every rule of war, including holding 133 Israeli men, women, and children hostage. Who's the ICC targeting? The democracy called Israel. And in targeting Israel, the ICC would be targeting all democracies because it would be undermining their inherent right to defend themselves against savage terrorism and wanton aggression. Clearly, this threat by the ICC is not an attempt to enforce the law. Israel is not even subject to the court's jurisdiction, and it has an independent legal system that rigorously investigates all violations of the law. Rather, this ICC attempt is an attempt to paralyze Israel's very ability to defend itself. The government and people of Israel reject outright this grave threat to our security, this grave threat to our very existence. And I want to assure you, no ICC action will impact Israel's ironclad determination to achieve the goals of our war with Hamas terrorists. We will destroy Hamas's military and governing capabilities in Gaza. We will release all our hostages, and we will ensure that Gaza never poses a threat to Israel again. Israel expects the leaders of the free world to stand firmly against the ICC outrageous assault on Israel's inherent right of self-defense. We expect them to use all the means at their disposal to stop this dangerous move. 6 months after the terrible Hamas massacre of October 7th, 80 years after the horrors of the Holocaust, the Jewish state calls on decent people everywhere to reject this outrage by the ICC, to stand with Israel as we fight the barbarians of Hamas in Iran and as we work to secure a more peaceful world.
Okay, so a couple of reactions already. Let's just talk. What's going on in the live chat? This Gem person says this live stream looks recorded. Well, if it's recorded, then I have a time machine and I can respond to your live chat at the same time. New conspiracy theories. This person, Abel, says Maya is a Jew. Ooh, how did? Is that supposed to be an insult now? Firstly, no. I'm still loyal towards the Christian church, but I'm still pro-Jewish people and Israelis, obviously. Let's go back to the update, and I'll get your reaction as well. The rest of the live chat as well. All right. So now, Netanyahu also said that Rafah will be invaded with or without the hostage deal. Right now, they are claiming that the Israelis are doing genocide. Right. The problem with this is that I've said this so many times. I know it's repetitive. If they were going to do that, it would have taken a very, very quick time. They've been so cautious about the Rafah operation because it's a sensitive area. Everybody's there now, and the Islamists are using people as human shield. And Israel don't want to give more excuses to the enemy and the globalists to attack them. So it makes sense. But they have been taking ages into going there. And they've been doing the airstrikes, which I don't like. But they have to go in. They have to step in. They have to go in and sort out the whole operation once and for all. Netanyahu said Israel will enter Rafah to eliminate Hamas, whether an agreement is reached on the hostages and a ceasefire or not. The idea of ending the conflict before achieving the goals is not an option. The problem for Netanyahu is he also has opposition from the political left in Israel, especially in Tel Aviv. So he has to calm them down whilst also fighting against the American globalists who want to tell Israel how to defend itself. It's a fascinating concept right now, what we're dealing with when it comes to Israel. We have foreign countries and globalist entities and institutions telling a country how to defend itself. These are the same people they're taking the moral high ground. They're not going to the Islamic Republic of Iran, telling them talking to them about how they are doing a crackdown against their own people. They don't go to China to talk to them about what they're doing to the Uyghurs. They don't talk to the Pakistanis and the Indians who continue to clash with each other. They don't tell any other country how to run their own countries. But Israel, defending itself, you have to tell them how to do it, right? So that's another hypocrisy. Now, going back to the ICC thing and the arrest warrant, Netanyahu has said about the reality is the ICC in The Hague and all these guys simply are against the Jews and against Israel. They want it off the map. There's an argument to be made because it's the same with the United Nations. A lot of them simply want Israel to not exist. That's the whole point. The big club in the United Nations, the Gravy Train, they are all against the Jewish nation. He said, the International Criminal Court prevents the Jewish state from defending itself when they try to exterminate it. And then he also did say that the International Criminal Court is fighting us directly, and there is a global system working on anti-Semitism. You don't really get the ICC and all these globalists going to the Palestinian territories and tell them off about what Hamas or the Islamic Jihad or Hezbollah in Lebanon are doing to their own people and to their own enemies. You don't really get any criticism on the Islamic Republic of Iran, on the Houthis from Yemen. No, nobody cares. But Israel defending itself and a couple of crazy IDF soldiers making mistakes, well, they just need to bring down the whole of the Jewish state because one or two idiots did something. This is the problem we're currently facing, the double standards. Israel needs to exist. Not just as a concept, well, they have to have the right to defend themselves. They have to exist, Because where else would the Jews go without being harmed? You are seeing what's going on across the whole world on our streets, including the so-called Western civilized democratic world, where the Jews are being targeted. Where can they go and be safe? They can't be safe in America. They can't be safe in Poland. They can't be safe in France. They cannot be safe in South Africa. They can't be safe in Australia. Where do you want to send the Jews? Forget about the fact that they deserve to have their own nation, which they always had before. They had a kingdom. Forget about all that. Where would you send them that they will be safe? That's why Israel needs to exist. So, having said that, let's have a look at the chaos inside the war cabinet, because there's massive division. There is a political left infiltration that's been obviously putting pressure on Netanyahu. But this is actually getting really weird now, because apparently there's been some threats and blackmail and all this nonsense with a member of the war cabinet, and obviously one of the ministers has come out to say the cabinet defined the goals of the war 6 months ago. True. In the last day, 2 cabinet members have been using blackmail with political threats. This is a serious phenomenon that Hamas harms the Israelis' national security. We know that. And they also said that I will only be a partner in a government that makes decisions based on the national interests of the state of Israel, not on political considerations. So first things first, this argument has been made by pro and anti-Netanyahu people. The state of Israel and the government of Israel must do everything in the interest of the state of Israel. So anything you've seen from the IDF has technically been that, apart from delaying the Rafah operation. That's actually harming the interest of Israel, because you're just allowing the Islamists to regroup. The idiotic situation is that the political left in Tel Aviv, for example, are not helping. I fully understand that the leftists are emotional people. I accept it. I respect it. Have your emotions. Go cry. Because I get it. That's the whole point of being left-wing. But you can't really go too far to jeopardize national security, especially when it comes to a sensitive country like Israel, let alone here in the UK, for example, or in US or in Canada. There is a time to have political differences. And I'm not even defending Netanyahu and it's the senior team around Netanyahu, because there's a conversation to be had eventually about corruption, about all the allegations, about, oh, he's too conservative, or he's too this, or he's too that. You could have that eventually. Right now, you got the enemy on the border, and they keep crossing the border. People forget about what's going on in the north of Israel from the Lebanese side, and Hezbollah on a regular basis. It's not just about Hamas, who've now escaped and hiding in the tunnels. The main enemy is not even Hezbollah or Hamas, it's the Islamic Republic of Iran. They forgot about that. And Israel had a chance and had an opportunity, and almost just justified, to go and destroy Iran a couple of weeks ago, right? Not saying it was a good thing to do. I'm not saying war is good or conflict are good. I'm not advocating for it. I'm simply saying, based on the rules of the game, geopolitical games, and whatever it is, when Iran hit Israel, it was justified for Israel to go and hit Iran properly. They didn't. Because of all the backroom conversations that happened between the Americans and Israel and all the international community, the same Israel that gets accused of being genocidal and imperialist, the one chance that they had to go and destroy the main enemy, the Islamic Republic of Iran, they didn't. They calmed down. See the issue? The difference between two sides? Are you really thinking that on the 6th of October, when the Islamists were having a meeting, the final meeting to go into, to invade Israel, do you think if, for example, somebody from Qatar, the sponsors of the Islamists, who are in the pocket of the Islamic Republic of Iran, had told Yahya Sinwar or Ismail Haniyeh, guys, can you delay the 7th of October? Don't do it. Do you really think those idiots in Gaza would have said, yeah, sure, let's be diplomatic? They don't care. They went and invaded Israel. That's the difference between the IDF and the Islamists. And I'm not fully defending the government of Israel. I'm not in favor of any of the governments because I'm more libertarian leaning anyway. I'm resistant and skeptical when it comes to all politicians and all governments. So I'm not even backing Netanyahu as an individual. I'm simply defending the state of Israel and the Jewish nation. And it's not even just about the Jews, it's also about the Christians. How many times have I said, they're going to come for the Jews now because they're going to come for the Christians next. They're going to get Tel Aviv, Jerusalem now, they're going to get Vatican tomorrow, and they're going to get mainland Europe next day. That's the plan. It's expansion. It's one world government under the umbrella of the black flag of Islam. And the far left are helping them. And then we have all these moral people on the liberal left saying, yeah, but why is it that we have all this collateral damage? It's a conflict. Of course there's going to be collateral damage. And they've been minimizing it. Nobody likes conflict unless you're a psycho. Nobody likes war. But one side tries to be Puritan. And this is the problem we're having. Let's go to the super chat and I'll go to the rest of live chat as well. Thank you so much. Saying buy bacon and stop the Sharia law threat. That's a good idea. And Belinda says, I am in complete agreement with Mr. Netanyahu. He speaks the truth. Keep going, Israel. Do not be deterred. Yeah, in terms of what the content of what he said, I agree with what he said. Despite obviously political differences and certain things that he does, there was no flaw in the statement, in the actual statement. Even if you don't like him, the statement was true. Mark says Netanyahu should do the British thing of sticking the middle finger up and F you. That's what I thought he was going to do. Since October, it seemed like the Israeli government were going to do the FU to the world. Maybe for the first few weeks. No, not anymore. Because of all the pressure on Netanyahu's cabinet, they keep making concessions. And let's not forget about history, modern history, the last few decades. Israel keeps getting accused of being imperialist and doing genocide, right? Even though the Arab population, the Muslim population is still growing in the region. And the Jewish population is not really growing that much. So there's no expansion. Secondly, over the last few decades, Israel has had a number of prime ministers who made too many concessions. They get accused of being imperialist, but they keep making concessions, especially in the 90s. Let's not forget about all that. They've been too nice. They've given too much wrong time, and they have also, in a reactionary way to criticize Israel over the last few decades, they have also, at times, the wrong times, they've gone in too much. They've taken too much the wrong time, and they've given too much the wrong time as well. They just haven't got the things right when it comes to the political establishment. But overall, the state of Israel is resilient. The people. Big Bruno says, we now want to arrest someone for self-defense. Makes sense, right? I know. You want to defend yourself? How dare you? Talia says the ICC is a joke. Let's not forget the ICC and the International Criminal Court, obviously in The Hague, and all these guys. They are very much they're tricky easy. They're kind of always on a regular basis want to arrest people. There have been arrest warrants against multiple leaders over the last few decades, democratic and dictators. Nothing actually happens because they don't actually have a police force. Now they can pick up the phone to Interpol, say, can you bring Tony Blair in? And they say, yeah, we called Mr. Blair and we couldn't find him. I was like, okay. And they just move on to the next one. Can you get George W. Bush? No. Can you get Netanyahu? No. What is the point of this? We do realize this is not just a waste of time. It's a waste of your tax money. It's literally what they're doing. Every time they get around in The Hague to have all these meetings, they're spending your money. It's like the United Nations. It's not self-funded. It's not like McDonald's. That's not how it works. And says, how dare they? You don't go into other countries and dictate what they are doing. Why are they not going into Palestine? Yeah, why are they not criticizing Hamas for kidnapping people and for also oppressing their own people? Oh, crazy people. Atheist Gamer says, IDF warned civilians to leave the battle space and Hamas kept the civilians more. This is the whole point of the Rafah operation being postponed for the past 2 months. Any other military force in the world, any other defense force, they would have gone in. They would have said, we are coming. In the next 24 hours, we're going to come in. We're going to invade. We're going to take out your bad people, bad leaders. They would have gone in. They don't care about collateral damage or whatever. Whether it was Putin going to Ukraine, whether it was the US going into Iraq or any conflict. The IDF have been picking up the phone to Gaza. We're coming now. We're coming. Have you left now? Have you left? We're coming next week. We're coming. Okay, we'll come next month. We're coming soon. We might come. Are you okay? Can we come? You can't keep checking because a bunch of the civilians have been brainwashed to stay voluntarily. The rest of them are being forced to stay because we've had so many examples where when they come out and leave their homes, the Hamas people shoot them. They say, no, get back to your hole because they want those places to get targeted so they could use them as human shields and martyrs, essentially. 2C, say this out loud. If it's really live stream, demand. Yes, we are live. What is going on with people? If it says live, it's live. Ashley says, this will not end here. He is finished. And so is every foreign government minister that has supported him. Foreign government minister, you mean governments, okay. And his cause. This cannot be stopped and will not end well for everyone involved. This is just words. I don't know what to say about this. Going back to some super chats. Ideology. Richard. What do you say? Richard's typing. Note to self. Remind Maya to change the date. I did. Oh, it says April. I changed the actual date, but not the... There we go. It's May now. We skipped through a whole month instantly. You could have shouted this before. Anyway, next one. Still come... why are we doing... Oh, well, I can make a lot of jokes about this firstly, but also let's not joke around when it comes to the IRGC, because I'm still on their list. I'm still on the target list. I don't want to anger them too much. They're a bunch of very emotional crybabies, the Islamic occupiers of Iran. Rona Davis says Hamas need to be defeated. They are very dangerous people. These demonstrations need to be stopped in the streets and universities. The problem is, I've said this so many times, and we did obviously do a live show about what's been going on across the university campuses in America. The values of the Western civilization, whether you want to call it the liberal secular values or the democratic values and everything that we had, and free speech relatively and everything else, is now being used against us. But until recently, or even now in London, we have all these hate marches every Saturday. They are technically still allowed, because they could say these are just demonstrations and we are not doing anything wrong, right? But we know the rhetoric inside when they are chanting from the river to the sea. We know exactly what they mean, but they are using the technicalities against us. So until now, all these demonstrations have been allowed to happen. But even I have a line. Even if I make the concession saying, I don't like it, but yeah, they're still protesting in London, right? Even I have a line. Even my liberal brain, if I use the liberal brain for a second, even though I don't have the liberal side there, we have to say, occupying university campuses, kicking out students and professors just because they're Jewish, that is no longer free speech or free protest. That is treasonous. That must be stopped. And I know that NYPD over the last couple of days have finally been on top of it when it comes to Columbia University and many others. But we need the National Guard in these states, in America. We need the federal government to do something about it. But obviously Joe Biden doesn't even know what's going on outside his castle. His palace. I can see our producer Lacey Butcher is in the live chat. Because you guys are talking about her, so usually I know she's in the live chat. William just says, just logged in to say your data is wrong, then you went and changed it. Keep up the good work, Maya. I had the feeling, I changed the date, I changed the actual day as well. I was like, something's missing. I couldn't see it. I know I can do what the Metropolitan Police did in the court case with Tommy Robinson. I could just blame it on dyslexia, even though I don't have it. I'm just going to self-identify as dyslexic. What's going on? Sean says, Maya, for the next Doctor Who, you have the mastery of time itself. Just flew a whole month instantly. That's what we do here. Can I just give you guys a quick update, by the way, now that I have your attention with my political rants while we're here. I did promise you guys we're going to make a quick announcement, obviously in terms of the upcoming 2CTV Plus platform. In case you don't know it, how dare you not know, the link is in the description, 2c.tv, our brilliant new website, sponsored by Tad Media, if you want to check them out as well, the link is in the description. But 2CTV Plus, the new platform that's coming up, we are going to be making the announcement in terms of the actual launch and everything else by this weekend, so Friday, hopefully. But a lot of you have already registered your interest in joining. If you want to sign up, the best thing you can do is just go on 2c.tv or the link is in the description, register your interest, and then you'll get an email, and I will announce when you get an email, but check your spam folders. It will be in a few days. Then that's the best way to sign up. And as I promised, actually, you guys put pressure on me because you guys like the new mugs and the coffee mugs and the pint glasses that Lacey Butcher's got up for us. The first 100 people sign up, when you get the email, you could win basically these Well, I don't know why I'm showing the picture when I actually have it next to me, and the pint glass as well, depending on what you want. The first 100, okay? And then obviously, in case you don't know what I'm talking about, what this platform is, we're going to basically destroy the corporate media. We are starting a whole new platform where we're going to have documentaries, historic shows. We're going to have entertainment, which is going to be very cheesy and weird. We're going to have a law show with Stephen Barrister. It's going to be great. It's going to be teaching law. We're going to have interview shows. Obviously, Joseph Robertson has a context show, which he'll be talking to influential figures. Lacey Butcher herself will be hosting a debate show, break it down, and that entertainment silly show. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. I think it's going to be my favorite. It will be me and Lacey. There's going to be many other things, and also a video podcast as well called Pint and Politics. But we just get drunk and talk about politics. All that will be on 2CTV Plus. But don't worry, breaking news stuff on YouTube will still remain as it is and free. But we will need your help, because this is about investing in the future of the new media revolution, and the only way we could destroy the corporate media, who are already going down, but we want to make sure we put a stamp on it and fully replace them, is by joining 2CTV Plus. Let's have a quick look at you guys, the super chat. What's going on here? What is this? Oh yeah, okay. Audrey says from Israel, finally got the privilege to donate. Ah, thank you. As I always say, when we launch 2CTV Plus, you don't even have to worry about this. I mean, I'm not going to ask you not to donate, but you can just actually join 2CTV Plus. It'll be even better. You get more out of it rather than my shout outs. And Beth376 says 2C. What? Truth J's. What? Okay, I don't understand. Thank you so much. Was that? I'm losing my brain. Okay, so Antonio says, this is the first time I'm joining 2C Live. Well, thank you so much for joining. I hope you enjoyed it. We are going to come back in a bit. We have a couple of other updates. One is about Saad IQ Khan, the mayor of London, because the idiot is claiming that London is safe under him. And we're also going to be talking about the far-left activists who are attacking Google again for defending the Jews. I cannot believe these people are making me defend Google. I know. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. Don't forget to sign up, to register your interest. 2c.tv. Check out the link in the description. Go check out the new website. You got all the everything, one-stop shop for you guys. You've been watching 2C TV. I'm Maya 2C, and we are the media.